I always get hate because I know that this is in line with our economic plan, is in line with some of our key pillars. One of those key pillars is entrepreneurship, the support of micro, small, medium enterprises, but also the issues of making sure that our sectors, they're able to grow, they're able to compete with the best in the world. We're able to make sure that as much as we need services, but we also need to produce products. When we go to different malls in the country, we need to find homemade products. When we go to different countries across the globe, we need to find homemade products. And that's why we're saying markets made for her. We talk about Africa free trade. We can't have that if we don't have our own entrepreneurs in the province, in the country, who are producing these goods and services to make sure that we are able to sell to the rest of the world, to the rest of the continent. But if women are also not supported financially, there's no way in which they're going to be able to succeed. The other point that I would like to dwell on here is the issue of resilience. Running a business is not easy. You'll fall, but you must have the courage of standing up and keep on keeping on. Never give up. So one day you'll be able to hit a jackpot, you'll be able to find the right market niche. And as you go up, please let's mentor each other. Let us not be those people when we go up, when you see that we are at the top, you kick the ladder so that others cannot come up. The economy is so big that is having a lot of opportunities for all of us. Let's make the circle bigger. Let's support each other. Let's make sure that Bongani, in the next 4 years, MEC, this program has been with the department for the past 4 years. The Department of Community Development in Gauteng, on annual basis, in August, we have this kind of event where we bring all women who are in business to learn from each other, to network, so that at the end of the day, when we go to Nigeria, when we go to China, we must be able to find that some of the people that we have met here, their products are on the shelves. Even in the US, even in UK, anywhere in the world, we should be able to have that kind of progress. And my wish is that at the end of the day, we should be able to say that in the past 4 or 5 years, these are the women who started from nothing. Today they are here, so that we can show all those who are still struggling that it's indeed possible. And working with you, we know that we can be able to solve the problem of low economic growth. We can be able to solve the problem of high unemployment rate. Because all of us would like to live in a country, in a province, where jobless growth is the thing of the past, where unemployment rate will be below 10%, where all of us who want to work will be able to find jobs, where those who want to be in business can be able to be in business, so that we can remove all the obstacles. So with these few words, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank all of you for attending this event, and again thank all our partners. If you can also encourage your other colleagues in the private sector to join government in terms of making sure that we partner, and at the end of the day, all our sectors can be productive, can be competitive, and can be able to compete with the rest of the world. But at the end of the day, better countries put together, they are equal to better world. All of us who want a better world, where there's peace, harmony, and happiness. Let me take this opportunity to wish you all the best in your deliberation. Unfortunately, MEC, we have got other engagement with the Economic Portfolio Committee. So we may have to leave before the end of the program, but our colleagues are here. They will be able to give us a report back to make sure that going forward we're able to deal with all these challenges that may be identified in the discussion, so that everything going forward will be smooth sailing. Program Director, let me not talk the whole day, allow you to come and run the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, HOD. Please look at the lady next to you who is a female entrepreneur. If you have one in front of, next to you, just look at them and say to them, congratulations, man. Say you've made it this far. Yeah, isasendele ndlela kodwa siyahamba. Siyahamba. Come rain or shine, we are going. We got this far, and we are not going to quit now. We are going. We are going. And then, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then let's just welcome the Acting Consulate General from our Chinese partners in Johannesburg, Mr. Oliver Zhou, to just come and deliver a message of support, our valued partners with the Gauteng Department of Economic Development. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you, Program Director. I'm so honored to be one of the very few non-female guests in this room. Well, Honorable Wisuva Rumahopa, the Gauteng MEC for Economic Development, Agriculture and Rural Development. Congratulations for getting another portfolio on the economics a few months ago. Mr. Mutlajo Ohlowa, the HOD for the Gauteng Department of Economic Development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and happy Women's Month. Thank you. It's an honor to be part of today's event. To my delightful surprise, I found the theme at the program, the theme of my support, message of support as designated by the program director is Women Hold Half the Sky, which is a household phrase in China and later became popular in the world. This phrase began its popularity some 70 years ago when the late Chinese Chairman Mao Zedong used it to praise and encourage women to get out of the family and join in the construction of a new China. 70 years ago here in South Africa, thousands of miles away from China, the famous, let me try to pronounce this correctly, Watinta Bafazi, Watin Tin Bohodo. It's a song by the 2,000 women marching to the Union Building in Pretoria. By this song, they started a new era. In my knowledge, it's a new era of resurrection of women's unwavering strength and courage. Isn't that amazing? 70 years ago, there were things happening in both sides of the globe. Our two nations must have learned from and inspired by each other 7 decades ago. Now today, under the theme of Empowered Women, Empower the Nation, we gather here to commemorate the Great March by the 20,000 brave women. Actually, to my knowledge, South Africa has set a very good example in the development of women. For instance, I did a little study. Women occupies 45% of all parliamentary seats and cabinet minister portfolios. 1/3 of the boards of the JSE listed enterprises. 2/3 of all public university graduates. Isn't that amazing? And about half of science and research positions. That's a marvelous achievement. These figures show that South Africa is way better than many countries in the world in the development of women's cause. Bravo, South Africa. Well, on the other side of the world, of the planet, China has also been playing an important role in the advancing of women's development in the world. You may remember that the landmark Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, those two documents adopted on the 1995 World Conference on Women, has guided the cause of women around the world during the past 3 decades. I was personally assisting in that conference in 1995 when I first graduated from college and joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of China. I was helping a little bit, like pouring water for delegates in that meeting. Since those years, equality between men and women is now a universal consensus of international community. Well, in China, in the country itself, the cause of women, as stated by the President Xi Jinping in the Global Leaders Meeting on Women in Beijing last year, the cause of women has always been an integral part of the epic Chinese modernization endeavors. My understanding is women are as powerful as men, if not more so. Yet they face more challenges than men. But China promotes women's development by assisting women meeting their challenges in education, in healthcare, and in economic opportunities. For example, in the arduous and victorious battle against poverty, China implemented what we call Spring Bud program to bring impoverished girls back to school. We carried out what we call a water cellar for mothers program to free women from the daily burden of long-distance water fetching. By the way, China's battle against poverty has brought moderate prosperity to some 690 million women in China. I had the honor of serving in Yunnan province, a mountainous province in southern China, helping the poor villages to get some opportunities to development. So I have a very profound feeling about how people feel if they are if the obstacles of their development is removed, especially the female. And in China, in the process of advancing the Healthy China initiative and improving the system of basic public services, China has reduced the maternity mortality ratio by nearly 80% since 1995, which is the year of the World Conference on Women. Now, everybody is thinking that China's internet economy is booming. Well, in the booming internet economy, more than half of the internet startups are funded by women. A more interesting figure is that more than 60% of the medalists in the past 4 Summer Olympic Games are women in China. Well, I wonder if that's a good figure for men in China. Chinese women, we say, more confident and vibrant than ever before, are taking part in the whole process of state and social governance. They truly hold up half the sky in economic and social development in China. They even hold the 2/3 of the sky for China in the Olympics. Realizing that the international community has a shared responsibility to advance the cause of women, China actively provides opportunities and support for global women's cause, including that of South Africa. For example, China has initiated the International Day for Dialogue Among Civilizations and set up prize for girls and women's education in partnership with UNESCO. China has launched maternal and child health and happy campuses and other small but beautiful programs. China is actively promoting international exchanges and cooperation on women under the Belt and Road Initiative, also in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and within other frameworks. And last year, at the opening ceremony of the Global Leaders Meeting on Women, President Xi Jinping announced that besides donations to international women's organizations, China will, in the coming 5 years, launch 1,000 small and beautiful livelihood programs that take women and girls as priority beneficiaries. And China will invite 50,000 women internationally to China for exchange and training, and will establish a global center for women's capacity building, which is aimed at conducting capacity building and other development cooperation with relevant countries and international organizations to train more female talents. I hope we can work together to fetch some of these in the trolley of Gauteng. Well, inspired by that, my consulate general in Johannesburg has been trying our own way to promote women's development and cooperation between our nations. We have twice hosted forums focusing on women's empowerment. And in 2024, 2 years ago, we established the Consul General's Award for Academic Excellence for female students in the Faculty of Humanity at University of Johannesburg. And we have donated sanitary products for women in need. At the same time, we encourage local Chinese community and Chinese enterprises to engage with South African institutions to promote the rights and development of women. Today, I'm pleased to see that the CEO or CEOs of Buffalo participating at today's conference. Buffalo is a Chinese enterprise operating mainly here in South Africa, specialized in logistics and e-commerce and finance. The CEO, Frankie, Richard and Frankie are present here. Richard will share some insights later at the symposium. Before I finish, I have to say one more thing. There is a golden opportunity of bilateral cooperation that I do not want our South African entrepreneurs to miss. That is the zero tariff treatment China implemented since May 1st this year. Thank you. This arrangement scraps tariffs on 100% of tariff lines for all African countries with which China has a diplomatic tie. Since its implementation, this arrangement has boosted outstanding or striking increase of South African exports to China. I give you 2 examples. In May, South African apples exports to China reached over 5,000 tons. The figure is 5,471 tons, which is a 181% year-on-year increase. Think of that. In June, the agricultural exports to China from South Africa has exceeded $80 million, which means that the export value of the month is 70% of the annual total of last year. Well, some people may say that bilateral agreements only apply to big businesses. the entrepreneurs here today might be SMEs, but I want to give you an example. I want to challenge you and encourage you to be bold enough, to be ambitious. An example is last week I attended a 80th anniversary of Aberdale. If you know Aberdale, Aberdale has been acquired by a Chinese company named Gauteng. Gauteng was established 35 years ago in a small town in Jiangsu province. They had a very, very humble start, but they are bold enough to develop. They became an international company in 10 years. And right now, 35 years after their birth, they are a number 3 in fiber and cable making in the world. And they have come to South Africa. They have cooperated. By acquisition, it's a word, it's a business jargon, but it is cooperation. Yeah, they keep the original workers, they expand the working force, they provide training and things. I'm not praising Gauteng, I'm just giving you an example. A very humble startup 35 years ago can grow into an international business. If they can, you can. So take the opportunity of the zero tariff arrangement. Don't be afraid. The zero tariff arrangement is not merely an opportunity to expand export. It is an opportunity to further deepen industrial alignment with China and to further transform from exporters of raw material to manufacturers of high value-added products. It is an opportunity, hence, for benefits of people in both Africa and China. Moving forward, China will continue to welcome more high-quality products from South Africa. The embassy in Pretoria and my consulate in Johannesburg stand ready to facilitate bilateral trade and economic cooperation. We stand ready to promote industrial chain collaboration and capacity building between our two countries. I believe women entrepreneurs will greatly benefit from the zero tariff arrangements and will contribute to our cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, from pioneers fighting against injustice to entrepreneurs running businesses, from mothers nurturing the next generation to leaders building the nation, the contribution of women is immeasurable. Let us honor the women of yesterday by empowering the women of today and creating opportunities for the women of tomorrow. To conclude, I wish this conference a complete success. I thank you.
Siyabonga acting CG. There's a plug, ladies. Yeah, lay plug. We are really grateful. Thank you so much for the opportunities that have been presented here. Are we still alive? Yes. We are still awake. Yes. Very happy to be here still. Yes. Yeah, we must keep checking. We must just keep checking. Next up, we would like to welcome on stage our MEC for Gauteng, Department of Economic Development, Agriculture, and Rural Development, Ms. Vuiswa Ramogopa, who will be delivering our keynote address this morning, titled Shifting the Gears for Economic Inclusivity in Gauteng. Ngicela simshayeleni izandla, guys. Ngiyacela please, ngiyacela. Ngicela nililizele, nimshayele izandla.
Sanbonani. Dumelang. Absheni. Molweni. Thobela. Goeiemôre. Ni hao. Program Director, thank you very much for that warm welcome. Let me also acknowledge and thank the presence of the Acting Consular General of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Oliver Zhu, Head of Department, Mr. Mutlacho Mohulwa, thank you for those warm opening remarks, as well as our strategic partners who have made this day possible, our sponsors, Absa, Zuho-san, and many others you've seen on the screen, as well as our good friends from Buffalo Logistics, Mr. Richard and Frankie Zhang. Thank you so much for joining us. We come a bit of a way back. It's really lovely to see you again. But most importantly, good morning and welcome to all of you ladies in the room today. Lebantle, nibahle. I love Women's Month because that's where we really get to see women showing up in all of our glory. And I really don't get tired of these types of engagements. You know, when I came into office in 2024, July 2024, and at that time I was given the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development as my portfolio. Subsequently, of course, I have since also taken on the role of leading the economic development portfolio. But when I came into office in 2024, and after spending a bit of time on the ground, speaking to agripreneurs, women farmers, and business people in the sector, I came back to the team and we worked and developed our strategy that was going to define this term for us. Now, our term is 5 years, so we had to put a 5-year plan to say, what do we want to do in this 5 years in office? And we themed that strategic plan under the name Shifting the Needle. Shifting the Needle. And what does that mean? And what did that mean to us? It meant that government can no longer just be satisfied with holding events, reporting on statistics and targets, reporting on our activities. We have to start seeing meaningful progress on the ground, in communities, in people's pockets, where it matters the most. So it's no longer about simply celebrating what we've done, but it's about really understanding the impact that we've made and making sure that we do indeed shift the needle. So I find this particular address, when I was asked to speak on this topic, the topic that I was given was shifting the gears for economic inclusivity in Gauteng. And that's very much aligned with where we are. Because it cannot be business as usual, ladies. We have to now get very deliberate about how we are going to shift gears so that we can start to see that needle moving. The acting CG shared with us some of the statistics, and South Africa has indeed made some very significant progress. As a country, in terms of our representation in Parliament, in terms broadly of the rights that are afforded to women, I personally celebrate the fact that I don't have to live in a country where men sit in boardrooms and debate whether women should have access to women's health care, to abortion rights, and to their own reproductive rights. These are things that we must be proud of as a country, that we have the opportunities to live and exist freely as women. But that said, we must also acknowledge and recognize that there's still a long way to go. And the next frontier of progress for us as a country, and I say as a country because it's not just about women. It's not just about women. Investing in women is good policy. And when you invest in a woman, the nation reaps those dividends. When you invest in a woman, the nation reaps the dividends. So The work that we now need to do is ensure that we move from simply acknowledging the progress to charting a course for the way forward and saying, how are we going to shift the needle in the next generation? The women of 1956 marched and fought to make sure that we could have our foot in the door. Now that our foot is in the door, what comes next? And that's what I want to spend a bit of time talking about in today's address. So, the question around the participation of women in the economy is one that is an important question. And I think it's fair to say, just looking around this room and the many other rooms that I have sat in this month, that women indeed are taking our place, we are participating, we are starting businesses, we are leading in many industries across, all sectors as far as I can see. But the real question now that we have to ask ourselves is, are we actually capturing the value in these sectors? Because we now need to move beyond participation to the question of who owns this sector? Who's like us? You can't be the only one at that table. We need to make sure that the legacy that we leave behind is that future tables will be ones that are built for us, by us, with our needs and our capabilities in mind. So that brings me to one of the topics of today's discussions, and I can see that there's a big discussion today that's going to be had around market access. I think when it comes to business and women in business, we talk a lot about funding and capital. That's important, and I'm going to come back to that. But I actually think, and I'm glad today's discussion is looking at questions around market access as an enabler, because that is really, really critical. And one of the themes of one of the topics, I believe, is markets made for her. Markets made for her, leaving no one behind. So I think that's an important conversation, and it's about being very precise about what do we mean when we talk about market access? How are we as Gauteng actually thinking around the question of market access? And I'll make an example with a program, Acting CG, that we launched actually just yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Sometimes the weeks just get so long, but I think it was yesterday. We were launching yesterday at the Tarleton Agri Park, a program for agripreneurs, 11 of them who are being incubated in this agri park. And many of these are young women, either agricultural graduates or women who have been farm workers. They have worked on farms, they have had some touch point into the sector, but they don't have that ability to enter the industry as owners. So through this incubation program, we didn't just offer them training and mentorship. That is important. But first and foremost, we gave each of our 11 incubators 1 hectare of land to start. So each of them have received an allocation of 1 hectare of land. And as the department, we have taken what would normally be used for farmer support, and we have invested 8 million rand into upgrading that facility with irrigation infrastructure, fencing, and otherwise, that they can then use in their operation. Mind you, this is our joint facility that we own with the Mogale City municipality. But it doesn't stop there, because you can't just solve for the land. Those who have land know that land is also a headache if you can't generate income and profit out of that land. So we had to actually start with the end in mind and say, how are these women going to be sustainable in the long term and be able to earn a living for themselves and hopefully build and leave this agri-park and go on and do more? So we started with the end in mind. And through our departmental aggregation strategy, we then connected, they are part of a broader aggregation program. So all these 11 farmers are aggregating. So they are all growing the same type of produce, which is being aggregated by an aggregator who has already secured contracts with Woolworths, Checkers, and some of the major retailers, who is also a black woman, by the way. And so in doing that, we make sure that by the time they put a seed in the ground, that seed already has a buyer on the other end. And that revenue and that ongoing sustainability has already been solved for. And this woman, who's fantastic, she runs the Rural Box Foundation. Her name is Lieko. You must look her up if you don't know her. Fabulous woman. She has been doing this work for the last 10, 12 years. She's a farmer herself. She has gone out to secure contracts from some of the big retailers. But she said, I don't want to just be rich and successful by myself. I want to make sure that through my knowledge, through my contacts, through my access, I create platforms for others. And so that is a partnership with government, with a Rural Box Foundation, a private entity, a non-profit entity actually. And then we took it a step further and we brought Nedbank on board to finance these young ladies, to assist them to grow their businesses going forward, and to give them the necessary business skills, financial support, so that when they need to go and apply for funding one day from the bank, they mustn't be shocked that the bank needs financial statements. They mustn't be shocked that the bank needs certain documents or certain... These are the things you need to already be mindful of from day one, so that you prepare yourself for growing and scaling. And so this is an initiative we've been working on from the inception of our Shifting the Needle strategy. And we said aggregation is going to be one of the key levers of how we shift the needle. As Gauteng, we are not in a position to give a suitable amount of support to every single farmer in Gauteng that needs it. We just don't have that kind of fiscal space. We don't have that kind of money. But what we can do is we can leverage our relationships, our aggregation abilities to create more impact and sustainability for our entrepreneurs. So I'm sharing this with you to say market access is not just a term. It actually is where we need to start as entrepreneurs. Even if you are, whatever business you may be in, you start with the end in mind to say, who is my customer? How much are they willing to pay for this product? How am I going to get it to them? And then you work backwards from there to make sure that you have a suitable product. And I'll share, ladies, that for those of you who may not know, I myself, I've walked this journey. I have come from an entrepreneurial background. I used to be a shopkeeper, a clothing store owner once upon a time. Very difficult business, I'll tell you that. But I suppose it helped me to prepare for politics because I learned to talk to people and tell them what they want to hear. But very, very important lessons learned from business that have also been able to be translated into other spaces. And I think that question of market access is one that we leave for too late. You don't finish planting and harvesting, and then when you're holding cabbages in your hand, then you say, Harna access to market, MEC, Rekopa access to market. You must start there and then work backwards. Let me come back to the topic of capital. And I want to say this very unequivocally, okay? Women are overtrained, over-mentored, and under-financed. We need, I love these gatherings, don't get me wrong, but we need less seminars, more capital. As HOD had said in his speech earlier, women are capable of, there's nothing we're not capable of, okay? That part we've covered. So it is now time for those who believe in our capabilities to put their money where their mouth is. And again, I make the point that investing in a woman is not it's not a social welfare thing. It is core to how we are going to achieve our economic development objectives as a country. We need the other 50% of this country who is working and building and creating and innovating every single day to have our fair share of the capital that is needed to grow our businesses and help us to thrive. So again, we must move from the conversation of participation to the conversation of ownership of productive assets, productive enterprises. And I'll say this again, one of the hats I used to wear in my past life, I was in the property investment and property industry. And I really love real estate, I still do. Why do I love it? Because that is the first building block of where you start as a woman to build your wealth, as a person actually, to build your wealth. When you go to a bank or you go anywhere to ask for financing, what do they say to you? They ask you, what have you got? Collateral, akere. Or they will ask you for your payslip, or both. You say, I'd like to get a farm. You know you can go out and buy farms easily if you've got collateral and you've got the revenue statements to show that you can do that. So my appeal to us as women is that we mustn't be scared of money. Money likes money. And money is attracted to money. So you need to be intentional about saying, I'm going out, I'm building my wealth, I'm investing in property, as small as my start may be. Reka flat ko Sunnyside for 300,000. Start there. And you build, you build, you build. That will enable you. One day when you want to go and get financing for your business, you are able to show a financier that I can be trusted. I have some wealth, I have some collateral that I can give. And I'm saying it in this way because we talk about access to capital like it's some other thing. It's actually very structured. When you speak to people in the financing space, you go to NEF or you go to a bank, they will say to you, we have our term sheets or whatever that they look for. They say, it's a checkbox exercise. We just want to know, do you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So our job is to make sure we close that gap to understand what are these people actually solving for. Let's help them solve for it. But beyond that, I would also say that we do have to resolve the issue of the availability of capital. You spoke, Acting Consul General, about some of the wonderful success stories of businesses that have been able to grow and scale in China over the years. We want to see that too. But to do that, you do need to have access to capital to help you to scale. One of the initiatives, again, that we have been pushing as GDAD is the NEF Agro Processing Fund, which is a 100 million rand fund annually, by the way. When we deplete it, it can be recapitalized. So we went to the market and we said, we want to intentionally find those companies that are in the agro-processing space, whether they are producing chili sauces, hair products, cut vegetables that are packaged for retail, whatever it may be, in the agro-processing space. And we will offer, we've gone with NEF for a blended financing product, which is half grant, half loan. When you apply, you then are able to then apply for this concessionary funding that is part funded by GDAD, part funded by the NEF. But let me tell you, when we first advertised, we probably got over 500 applications. Of those applications, we were only able to get to 7 businesses that were actually viable for funding, and that had actually crossed off the requirements that were needed. And it's not necessarily because the requirements are stringent, but because we hadn't been able to close that gap to also share with people what information is needed and how they're packaged. So we went back again, and then we said, all right, that's not a good rate, let's try again. We re-advertised, and I must say we haven't been able to see that number going up significantly, which is worrying for me because I know there's many people who are in this space, many great companies that are in this space. Just by show of hands quickly, how many of you have heard of this agro-processing fund, or how many are in the agro-processing space? Just want to check. Okay, there's a few. That's good. Have any of you applied for this fund? Just show of hands. You don't have to say if you've got your money yet. We don't need to know. Okay, so that's also quite interesting, that many of you seemingly know, but not a lot have actually applied. I want to encourage you, ladies, that please, when these opportunities arise, apply for them. Apply for them. You can't say that hakuna funding, but in essence, you haven't actually even applied as yet. It is there. We have not depleted the funds as yet. We are looking for bona fide businesses that can apply for the fund. I've put this here because I know that generally people will want to engage after the meeting. If you scan, you can obviously just leave your details there and what it is particularly you want to get some feedback on. My office will then make sure that we do those follow-ups and engage with you after today's session. So please feel free to scan that and just put your information in there. And then, just as a last point, as I kind of move to close, and here I'm not going to speak as an MEC for a moment. I want to speak as a woman, and as a woman who has walked a journey probably not too different from the journey that many of you are walking right now. Have you guys heard of Superman? All right. Do you know that Superman is a fictional character? Ke Popeye. Equally, Superwoman is a fictional character. You do not need to be a superwoman. You do not need to do it all the time yourself. And I'm saying this because I know we are often guilty of this. Here you are in a room of other women who are walking this journey, okay? Ask for help. Reach out to people who are walking this journey and dealing with some of the same struggles as you. We don't all have to be posting those, oh, I'm living a fabulous life stories on Instagram. Instagram is a lie. Superwoman is a fictional character. This here is real life in this room. And if we don't work together and share, honestly, some of our frustrations, but also ideas and solutions, we will not get there. So I'm just saying, don't suffer in silence, ladies. There are so many in this room who themselves have a lot to offer. Network, build your networks, and don't just build networks to complain with each other. Trade with each other. Buy from each other. Your supplier is in this room somewhere. Your customer is in this room somewhere. And they can open up other doors for you in their networks, in their spaces, etc. So I really would say that I love the saying, Acting CG, that women hold half the sky. I think in South Africa, in this country, in this province, that is so true. We don't just hold half the sky, we hold half the economy, we hold households together, we hold communities together. We are leading in so many different spaces and places. And in all of that, we still show up, we still glam up, we still look great, but we don't have to always have it all together. So feel free to reach out to the woman next to you and actually ask her, what do you do? How can we help each other? I'll just tell you a funny anecdote, but I noticed something when I go to kids' parties. You know, when you go to kids' parties, especially young kids, you have to go with them. So sometimes I'll go to kids, well, my kids are no longer sort of doing that too much anymore, but I used to go to these kids' parties, and I'd notice we'd get there, my husband and I, and then the men will go stand around something, the braai or whatever, and the women will go that way to whatever, they'll talk to each other. And I love to do this exercise, just do it for fun next time. When you go listen to the women's conversations, usually it's beautiful. We're talking about, you know, girl things. Ooh, Jomi, where did you get that nice top? I love your hair, How's life? Talking about the kids, talking about everything, connecting, beautiful. When you go to the men's side, usually they're talking about like the work they do, how they can work together. Okay, cool, you are, fixing taps. Yeah, no, cool, da-da-da-da-da. It's just different conversations. Now, I'm not saying we must be like men, but I'm saying whilst you are having whatever conversations, please make sure to talk about money. And talk about business. And talk about your business. So, let me pause it there, and again, just really thank the department on this wonderful program. Women's Month is an important time to reflect on the journey that we've walked, but also to recommit to the journey that lies ahead, and to get very practical about the work that has to be done. And so I value this opportunity. I value the time that we can engage with each other and just set our agenda for the year ahead. And I truly, truly wish that every one of you in this room can be successful in your businesses and your business endeavors. We are going to next month, I'm not supposed to talk about it yet because we're launching on the 1st, but we won't be together on the 1st, so let me share with you. Next month we will be launching a program where we will be actively showcasing all the opportunities that are available within the Department of Economic Development, within the Department of Agriculture, for funding for SMMEs, but also those who are looking for employment. We also have a number of private partners who have partnered with us. And the key objective there is to make sure that you don't have to knock on 10 or 20 doors just to be able to get one answer. We want to be able to create a platform for entrepreneurs, for job seekers, for those who are looking for that breakthrough, to be able to access us easily, quickly, and hopefully get the assistance and support that you need. So please watch out. There'll be some communication about this next month. But our objective is just to see the businesses in Gauteng thrive, to create jobs, and to make sure that Gauteng really takes its rightful place as the leading economy in South Africa, but also in Africa. I thank you all, and I thank you all to our partners who've joined us today. Ke a leboha. Malibongwe.
Wasn't that lovely? Wasn't that lovely? Ah, that was just lovely. All right, we are going to take a 10-minute breather, because I think, we've absorbed a lot of content. So let's just take a 10-minute breather. You'll see on the program, what follows next are the panel discussions and then the latter part of the program. So that breakfast, 15 minutes is what we are taking now, so that the stage can then be properly arranged for the panel discussions. So please grab a cup of tea. There are some snacks outside as we get the stage ready. Please be back in 10 minutes. And let's remember what MEC said. Now, while we are out there, let's find the customer. Oh, pictures. Yes. Can we please just also ensure that we just have the pictures taken with the dignitaries during this time. So go meet your partner, go meet your customer in this 10 minutes. communications marketing lead based at Chocolate Tribe. She's a certified public-private partnership professional and PR and communication specialist with 8 years of experience that span businesses in journalism, B2B, B2G, content strategy, and stakeholder communications with a current specialization in public-private partnerships and infrastructure. So with those expertise, she will be here to just moderate our first panel, and she will be the one introducing the panelists that will sit with us on stage. Sis Vuyo, the stage is yours, ma'am. I'm handing over to you. You have 25 minutes to run the panel, and then we'll hand over to the next.
Thank you so much for that introduction. My name is Vuyo, and I'm a big dreamer. I don't know if you guys remember that ad. It really empowered me, that ad, because it reminded me of who I am every day that ad played. Just a little bit about myself. Besides the role that I hold at Chocolate Tribe, which is a creative tech company, I was also an entrepreneur myself, and I was one of those people who had a business pre-COVID, and post-COVID, I'm back in corporate. So what happened was, I didn't have a partner to help me scale. I didn't have someone to show me how to access the market. So this conversation that we're about to have now is actually a conversation that I wish someone had had with me pre-COVID. So without further ado, I'm going to invite my panelists who are going to unpack the topic market access through partnerships that scale women businesses. I'd like to invite Pumla Eninya from NBI. And I would like to also call to the stage Dr. Tsepo Moime from Shumba. And I would like to invite Paul Agim from Clover. And from Tiger Brands, we are represented by Manda Milubi. And from Buffalo International, the CEO, Mr. Richard Zhang, onto the stage. Look, I think we've gleaned from this morning's program that South Africa does not lack ambitious women to start businesses. What we are lacking is a clear way on how to not only start businesses, but to scale and to partner, to get to the next rung. So I'm going to start with you, Dr. Tsepo. Talk to us about, from a business development lens, what are the barriers that hinder women to scale and access markets?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you. Thank you, MEC Ramokopa and distinguished guests. So I think the question of accessibility should not be framed around the challenge of whether it's a qualifying criteria for an SMME to qualify or the capability of that SMME. I believe that there's a deeper structural issue that ought to be confronted. So there's often a mismatch between the way our market and support systems are structured and the realities of the entrepreneurs we are trying to bring in those markets. I'm glad that when the MEC started, she highlighted the significance of access to capital. And I was reminded of this this morning before the program started while having tea. I met a young lady in the audience, and Nokwanda, if you'll allow me, I'd like to tell you a story. She's a qualified horticulturist who for 5 years feels like she has hit a wall. She has been through every training and opportunities for that or in that line that one could go on. But yet, she says, despite all these years and all these processes to equip her, if you may, she's still struggling with finding. So she has a clear business idea and qualifications and a business plan, but she represents something greater than just one entrepreneur's journey. So it makes us ask, when we speak about opportunities for entrepreneurs or networks required to participate, and a commercially viable business. So at Shimba, we have now, Ultimately, this is with progression to ultimately creating township to her this morning. What do we do to make sure that they have access?
I really appreciate as the CEO of Buffalo International, Mr. Richard, what would you
I should say thank you for all the women because I think most of you dealing with the purchasing the goods business because currently all the women they are entrepreneurs, but we have different cities. Those kind of things I think is the starting for the America is a side, Europe is a side, and the current growing biggest market I think is in all the entrepreneurs. The access, very big benefit to commerce and trading expo, last robust tea, those kind of things, and also other wineries and something like that. Low cost, efficient feedback, and you can test what's the client like. You can upgrade your product, no matter the and Saya currently really helps us to accept not really the product. We decrease the barrier, like those kind of, especially market.
get that perspective because access to market is also beyond the borders of South Africa with what they've observed as a barrier.
I'll start off by saying good morning and thank you so much. How we are vulnerable and how we don't necessarily have the power within society, but to actually be in society. So we engage with large corporates on issues around sustainability to also look at, and from what's been shared, that market access is more than just the contract, getting the contract. As a woman-owned business, you could have a great product that help you sustain as a business. And so from our engagements with corporates, we've ran through a project called the Ethical Supplier. So that project was started off with trying to understand what are some of the challenges that SMMEs face in getting access to corporate supply chains. So we ran research over the last year or so, engaging with women-owned businesses, male-owned businesses across different sectors to say, okay, you want to be a part of XYZ supply chain. What are the issues and barriers in getting into that? And so many of the issues have been shared already by Dr. And just reiterate the fact that most SMMEs are overcapacitated. So you can attend 10 capacity building programs, you can attend 1 million accelerator programs, but once you're in the room, the goalpost shifts. And so we then realized that, okay, the conversation needs to shift beyond just SMMEs and just women-owned businesses to actually engage with the corporates themselves to say, okay, how do we bridge the gap between the SMME accessing your supply chain to you as a corporate, and what does that space look like? Are you creating an enabling environment? So from there, we got to realize that many of the corporates overcapacitate, again, SMMEs, and overcapacitate women-owned businesses, and continuously create programs and initiatives that keep them out of the door. So it's not enough to say we are training 100 women-owned businesses, but now how are we ensuring that those businesses are sustainable over and above the programs that they create?
I really appreciate that perspective. I would like you to pass on the mic to Manda, who is transformation and ESD at Tiger Brands. I would like to ask you if is there a rule, because we are now talking about compliance, if we want to do business with China or if we want to do business with Tiger Brands, is there a rule that you had to rethink in order to allow more women businesses to do business with Tiger Brands?
Look, I think at Tiger, a key area that we quite focused on is agri-development. And what it does from a compliance point of view is put more stringent requirements in terms of the quality of product you're supplying. Now, those requirements usually kick a lot of interested parties out, and instead of having these rules that kick out potential suppliers and women-owned businesses, it's to intentionally say that we want to work with them and firstly say you couldn't get through the door. This is the reason why you can get through the door. These are the gaps that we need to cover to get through the door. And I'll use a practical example. So we source tomatoes for all gold, and a minimum requirement is you must be doing farming under irrigation. So it's one thing to own your piece of land. If you don't have irrigation, you can't supply or even plant for us, specifically with tomatoes. And so we created an intervention called the Horisani Agri-Development Program. Horisani means to grow. And there we're looking at how do we support you with the means of production. So how do we help you install irrigation that allows you to plant in order to supply into Tiger Brands. And it's not set in stone. So it might not be irrigation. Maybe you need access to electricity. How do we install solar panels? But in essence, it's about how do you hold hands with potential women-owned businesses in order to gain access to market. Now, the limitation is, from an output perspective, you don't get to say that you've trained 1,000 women farmers, but you get to say you've created access to market for 10 and deepen your outcomes for those 10 and build it gradually. And I think that's a more pragmatic approach rather than just looking at compliance requirements and hoping other stakeholders or parties will address that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And with that, I'd like to then bring you, Paul, into the conversation as Clover risk and compliance. So when rules are simplified and when compliance standards are not dropped but made more favorable for women to access markets, is a tension between compliance and risk from your office at Clover?
You mind maybe explaining again so I missed the question?
So when compliance procedures are simplified in order to allow more women to access the market or to partner with a corporate, in your office, do you see tension between risk, because you're a risk and compliance officer? So if transformation wants to bring more people and they simplify the rules or they simplify the barriers, would you then see a red flag, or is this tension overstated? Is it real?
Hi guys, everyone. My name is Paul Agim. So I think from a risk perspective, right, we obviously have what we call a risk matrix, but essentially when we look at the risks as a whole, we don't obviously just categorize the risk for women and risk for male. But I wanted to make an example of a market that we're currently serving. So we have a channel called Masakane, right? And that channel essentially focuses on what most people call the lower LSM, some call the informal market, there's various names, but it's essentially markets in the township, peri-rural and rural areas. A lot of people don't know that we deliver to those particular stores. So what we then notice is from a compliance perspective, particularly on things like credit, big businesses would then obviously obtain credit, right? And it'd be much easier for them to obtain credit because they have the collateral, as we mentioned, they have the assets and etc. And the small businesses struggle to obtain credit because they don't have those collateral, those assets. So what we then start doing is we try to tailor make, credit facilities for individuals that don't necessarily have your surety, won't necessarily have your assets, and I think that's the type of compliance-related stuff that we look at. But unfortunately, it's not just women; it's the broader spectrum as a whole.
You wouldn't take my bags and my shoes as collateral in order to give me a loan. I want to jump into the technology, which is a buzzword. Everyone is talking about AI, technology. Does it really create a real opportunity for women-owned businesses? And I think this is a last round of question, and for us to just close it off, if you can just reflect on that. Has technology really given us access, or are there more things happening in the background? I'm thinking algorithm, safety, compliance. Has it made it easier for us to be in the space?
Thank you very much. So first, I think AI really, really helps a lot. When I'm young, I'm a small entrepreneur. So when I try to learn something, I have to access to somebody. It's not that easily. And they're short of time to teach you the things. And right now, you just open a web page, access to the AI. then you have a very good mentor. No matter what kind of knowledge you want to use. This is the first thing. I think it's really helpful for all the entrepreneurs. If you want to learn your industry, if you want to improve your skills, if you want to have some knowledge, this is the first thing. So I suggest we must use. And second thing is, like currently, social media is very popular. So if you want to enter a market, so you have to post something, videos, pictures, all those kind of things. Previously, even we say in the Hollywood, they want to make a movie, will cost $1 billion for 1 hour movie. Currently, if you try to use the AI, you can create your own movie, maybe not 1 hour, 20 minutes. You just have to spend a weekend at your home with one computer. A fancy movie is there. So this is the reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What a better person to answer this question. Is there anyone that wants to contribute to the technology conversation in business?
Look, I think for us, working with farmers, sometimes the language that we use is too complicated, too corporate. Even when we spoke before, I was told not to use the word infrastructure, just talk about the pipes, right? And with some of our farmers, they don't want to talk that language. And the opportunities to use AI to translate. And it's simple as that. Practically on the ground, for people who are chemical spraying and chasing off pests, what would take you 2 weeks to do, you can cover in 2 days with a drone. And it sounds complex, but if there's a virus spreading, that 2 weeks can wipe out your whole harvest. And so technology...
Started as a domestic worker to then own a hair salon in the East Rand, built a house for herself from just understanding what her value, understanding her market, and understanding how to basically scale and grow. So it's in rooms like this, it's in opportunities like this, and I think our MEC touched on it this morning to say, you know, as women, it's so easy to talk about, you know, hair and nails and bags when we're discussing amongst a round table, and my co-panelists here touched on, you know, how we are contributing to Sheen, you know, so there's so many opportunities that women have, and in rooms like this, in spaces like this, to speak about your business, speak about the role that your business can play, understand your market. Knowledge is power. And we say this exhaustingly because, you know, it sounds cliche, but it's important to use tools like AI to sort of simplify your organizational needs. Technology is only useful if it benefits your business. Technology is only useful if it adds to the value that your business could potentially create. And so it's important that you understand once, and I'm gonna keep reiterating it because it's important that your market is known and is visible, but you also have to be able to speak to what role that you play within the broader ecosystem holistically.
Dr. Tsepo, one sentence. What can they do today? Because I only have 30 seconds.
I would say that what they can do today is to hold on to hope. The reason why I say that is because I know an entrepreneur's journey is not easy. And in the studies that I've done of entrepreneurs, I've got an affection for entrepreneurs, and I've worked for several entrepreneurs and I've studied them, and their journeys are seldom easy. And I'm talking about the most successful entrepreneurs that you can think of. Not one story that is easy, but they held on to hope. And of course, there's accessibility to resources, but they never lost hope. So if I could leave you with one thing today, and you are sitting there on your journey, is do not lose hope. Thank you.
Hold on to hope. And Paul, when they get to their business today, what must they do to be able to be compliant and manage risk?
So I think for me, the good thing, as we mentioned, there's AI right now. So previously you would need to get consultants to come and assist you with the various compliances. You have AI now. You can ask ChatGPT, you can ask Claude for all the steps for you to become more compliant. So yeah, make use of the tools and accessibility to information.
Yeah. Claude knows my name. With that, I would like to thank you so much for your contributions and for heeding the call to make it tangible, to make it real, to make it simple, so that every person sitting here can have something to take with to their businesses. And I'd like to encourage you ladies to reach out to the people on this panel during lunch and ask them questions, because we didn't have an opportunity to take Q&As. And I'd like to thank you, and bravo.
So just the additional one thing. So I think it's the real opportunity why we try to help with the women's side. It's like we work with Saya in the 10th of September in the Gauteng Festival Opportunity. We will provide 20 internship and employment opportunities there.
So we can find out about the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Sis Vuyo and our panelists. We really appreciate your time and coming to engage with us and the ladies today. Ladies, we are going to get into the second panel. Don't worry, the program is not very long. By 1 o'clock, we will be out of here, ne? And we are going to have a nice networking session, Galanche, and then you'll be able to meet the panelists and ask the questions that we need to ask. I think the panels are just a way for us to introduce opportunities to you. The next panel is going to focus on financial inclusion, right? And your moderator, her name is Isabel Rourke. I'll just read a paragraph out of her bio. She's a multi-award winning animation executive producer, a strategist and an entrepreneur with extensive experience. Okay, apologies. Can you just give us a second? Message or an address on building wealth, savings, and income together. Will you be comfortable over there?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good afternoon, good morning, everybody, ladies and the gentlemen in the room. I'm going to be very brief. I have 15 minutes. I'm going to spend 5 minutes introducing myself to you and why I'm here today. And then we're going to spend 10 minutes doing an activity for you all. So please make sure, if you're sitting at the tables, that everybody has this retirement calculation. It's a little bit of a fun exercise to help you with your money story. Is there a clicker for me? They control from here. Okay, you can click to the next slide. Hi, my name is Catherine Main, and I run a business called Money Savvy. And at 30 years old, I was totally bankrupt. As a high school dropout who studied beauty therapy, I made financial mistake after financial mistake and found myself in a lot of trouble while I was pregnant with my third child. My 2 kids had been kicked out of school. We lost our house, one of our cars, and I was in the worst financial situation of my life. I sat in my financial advisor's office, and he told me that if I didn't financially educate myself, I'd never be able to get out of debt. I spent 4 years financially educating myself, learning how to budget, understanding debt, understanding saving, understanding how to build businesses. Next slide, please. I've spent the last 18 years building 2 successful businesses, one of them being Money Savvy. I'm now a multiple award-winning businesswoman with a franchise that spans across 5 African countries, and all of this from a high school dropout. I started this business 12 years ago because I thought, well, if I can do this for myself, how many more people can I help to start this journey of wealth building? Next slide, please. So women and money are very different to how men handle money. So how many of you are single mothers in the room? Okay, single mothers and mothers normally prioritize their kids over their marketing budgets. Who can resonate? Okay, we sacrifice saving for our goals so that we can protect our other people's futures. We'll end up helping someone or everyone instead of helping ourselves to grow our wealth and our futures. We'll end up being the rock for everybody, emotionally and financially, even on those days when we don't want to get out of bed. We sacrifice our time instead of building our own wealth, our own education, and our own lives. And our budgets are built around our families and less of what we own need. So money is often not for us. It's for everybody who needs us. So today I'm here to talk to you. Next slide, please. Today I'm here to talk to you. We run an NPO called Money Savvy Community, and we have been very lucky. One of our funders has sponsored a workshop for us that we're going to be running at the end of September. And we wanted to invite, we have seats for 150 women, to come to this workshop to learn all of these things. We're going to unpack your current money mindset and belief systems and where it came from, and help you build the money mindset that's going to take you to where you want to be in the future. We're going to help you to understand your financial values and what's important to you, because when you spend money on the things that are important to you, you're able to feel more satisfied with your life. We're going to teach you how to set financial goals that are for you and not for everybody else. We're also going to teach you how to budget, to manage your money better, teach you debt management, and our sponsor, who is Money with Carla, is going to come and teach you how to do some investing. So today, I wanted to spend 10 minutes doing this little calculation with you to show you the kind of value that we're going to teach you. Is there somebody here that would like to come up on stage and do this with me here today? Any lady? Let's go. Okay, guys, so you're going to need a pen and your cell phones so that you can do your calculations. Okay, so this is a very simple calculation. Hello. How are you? Good, and you? Please introduce yourself.
I'm a farmer.
Okay, so Nelly, I'm going to give you this because I have a very big voice. Can you guys still hear me? Okay. All right, so the point of this retirement calculation is to give you a little bit of an idea of how much money do you need when you want to stop working. So this doesn't take into account inflation or interest or any of those things. It's really just an exercise to show you maybe how underprepared you might be to retire when you are ready. Okay, so everybody's going to do this together. So Zanele, what age do you want to be when you retire?
60.
60, okay.
That's the
so
benchmark.
We're going to have to write this down.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to put this down because I need to.
Okay.
And how long do you think you're going to live for? Like, what age do you think you might pass away?
Maybe 100. 100 years.
Okay, so Zanele wants to retire at 60. I can't hold it. I need two hands. I'm just going to talk really loud. Okay. All right, so Zanele wants to retire at 60, but she thinks she's going to live to 100, which is very realistic these days, which means that Zanele has 40 years where she's not earning a salary, where she's going to need to take care of herself. All right, so next question. How much money do you want, not do you need, do you want every month after 60? What's your figure?
250.
Okay, she's ambitious. We love it. Okay, 250,000 Rand. Okay, so now we're going to do some maths. Zanele, I'm going to give you my calculator, and you're going to do the calculations for us. All right, so Zanele's going to work out her formula. Okay, so she needs 250,000 times 12 months times 40 years equals 12 million Rand. No, that can't be right. It's more. No, it's 12 million. Okay, so let's do this again. 250,000 times 12 times 40. 120 million rand Zanele needs if she wants to retire at 60 and live to 100. How likely are you to meet that goal right now? Okay, she's got some work to do. All right, but if you have to look at the next chapters down. So guys, I want you to work it out. What's your figure? Who's got a figure? Okay, so if your figure is 50,000, you do 50,000 times 12, because there's 12 months in a year, times the years. So Zanele's was 40. Times 12 times the amount of years. So you get your years from when you retire to when you die. That's when you work, how you work it out. Who's got a figure? What's your figure?
And then so I want to retire at 50, and then I would love to live until 101. And then how much money would I need each month, which is 60,000 rand. And then when I said 60,000 times 12 times 51, which is 36,720,000.
That's a lot of money. All right, so the purpose of this is to show you how much money you're going to need when you pass away. Okay, so the next question is, how old are you now, Zanele?
I'm 33.
33. So if Zanele is 33 and she wants to retire at 60, it means she's got 27 years left to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do our next calculation. How many paychecks do you have left until you're 60? Okay, so I want you to calculate how many paychecks do you have left until you pass away, until you stop working. Okay, so we said how many years?
33, 27 left.
So 27 times 12 is 324. Zanele only has 324 paychecks left until she wants to retire. Does your goal sound realistic?
Yeah, not really.
Okay, so these are some of the things that we're going to teach you in our workshop. Thank you so much, Zanele. These are some of the things that we're going to teach you in our workshop. We're going to teach you how to understand what you want your money to do for you and help you put a plan to get there. We're going to be running the workshop around the end of September, and we will be communicating with all of you once the flyer is ready. My name is Catherine Main. If you'd like to support us, you can follow us on socials at Money Savvy. Thank you.
That was a lovely exercise, wasn't it? It was really lovely. It makes you question your life choices. Yeah, it makes you, yeah, it's scary, very scary. Unfortunately, guys, our HOD and the CG do have to leave. We are so grateful that you joined us this morning. Thank you, HOD. Thank you, CG. We will allow you to leave, even though we don't want to. We will let you leave with very broken hearts that you are going. The male constituency is becoming smaller. Ne? So let's just allow them to just
Whether you're a
step
small
out
business, starting
before we start with the second panel. Thank you so much.
first ever.
Given us that leeway. You've heard a lot about the 10th of September, right? The Festival of Opportunities. The event is taking place on the 10th of September. The unit that is actually, the colleagues that are actually organizing this event from Strategic Partnerships are organizing the event, are part of the organizing team. So a lot of the opportunities that CG was talking about, Catherine, all of those will be featured there. The links to register are not yet out, right? So please do follow the departmental website, the departmental social media pages, the Gauteng Department of Economic Development, for that information to come out. So it's the 10th of September. If I'm correct, the venue is Constitution Hill. But just keep checking the social media pages so that you are able to get all that information, register on time, and be with us on the 10th of September. All right, so that was a nice introduction to the second panel, financial inclusion. This innovation. She is the founder and CEO of Dreamforge Creative Pty Ltd, and she specializes in building commercial viable African animation projects while creating opportunities for underrepresented talent, particularly Black and female creatives. So if you're in the animation space, or you're in the content creation space, animation side, Isabel will be your person. So Isabel, 25 minutes, financial inclusion. Please call up your panelists.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to mention, as the MEC was talking about Superman and Superwoman, we really hold up the mirror to society as animation creators. So those characters represent you as entrepreneurs. You are Superwoman. To achieve what you do in entrepreneurship, that is a superhero power. So, to start our introduction, I'd like to introduce Absa Mpomotseng Dotetsi, Gauteng Economic Propeller, Alulwani Chukwe, the marketing manager, and from Business Partners, Maseke Maleka, who is the investment manager. Hello, welcome. Good and you. I'm always up for a hug.
Hi.
Hello. Yes, we missed out on a lot of hugs during COVID, so we have many hugs to make up for. Please introduce yourself. I was not given bios, so I'll allow you to introduce yourself.
Good morning, ladies. My name is Mpomotseng Tsotetsi. I am a relationship executive. I'm part of the Absa Business Banking team.
Good morning, ladies and a few gentlemen in the room. My name is Aluwani Chokwe, or Alu, and I come from the Gauteng Enterprise Propeller, manager responsible for marketing and communications. We are a provincial development finance agency of the Gauteng provincial government under the Department of Economic Development.
Cool. Is our last guest from Absa not here? Okay. So I'm going to start the conversation by just putting it into context of some of the challenges and barriers to entry that women's businesses experience. Limited access to capital. Women-owned businesses are significantly less likely to receive funding compared to male-owned counterparts, creating a persistent financing gap. Competitive disadvantages. Many women entrepreneurs lack the capacitation and support structures needed to strengthen their competitive edge in the marketplace. And then fragmented networks, limited exposure to investor networks, restricts access to critical information, sharing platforms, and funding opportunities. So that lays the context for our conversation. I think I want to start off with you sort of just taking us through what your organizations offer for women's businesses.
Okay, before I answer the question, I want my ladies to please join me in a reflective moment, and may you remember these two words. Firstly, strong mindset. Please keep that. Mindset is everything. And then discipline. Discipline is the ability to execute irrespective of how you feel. So let's focus and let's be prosperous women. Okay, to answer the question at hand, ladies, at Absa, we believe that empowering women entrepreneurs
is not only a social imperative as well as an economic one. Women-owned businesses are among the most resilient and innovative businesses in our economy. Our role is to ensure they have access to financial tools they need to grow. So what we offer a wide range of funding solutions tailored to businesses at different stages of growth, including business term loans, business commercial asset finance, asset financing, as well as commercial property and working capital facilities. We also support women entrepreneurs through our dedicated and women youth propositions, which are designed to make banking more accessible and affordable. These include benefits such as waived lending initiation fees, discounted business insurance, preferential banking offers, digital payment solutions, and access to business advisory support. In addition, ABSA has partnered with the development finance institutions to strengthen access to funding for women-owned businesses. Beyond funding itself, we do see finance as part of a broader growth journey. This means helping entrepreneurs to access the right products, the right networks, and right expertise to build a sustainable business that can create jobs and contribute meaningfully to the South African economy.
Thank you very much. So we have various funding products that we offer as the GEP, and mostly with a threshold of 5 million rands. We have startup finance. I think that is also self-explanatory. However, we need to see the prospects of you making profits if you are a startup business. Secondly, we have what we call growth or expansion finance. This is funding that you apply for when you have an existing business already. However, you want to scale, and we do support, in fact, encourage rather, businesses that are already in existence to apply for our expansion finance so that they're able to contribute more to the economy. We also have franchise finance. I think that is self-explanatory, with a threshold of 5 million rands. And of course, in this regard, because the different entities, I'll make an example with Clover. So if you want to franchise a Clover brand, we want you to first meet the criteria and the requirements that Clover has set in place. Once you've met that requirement, and of course they'll say you must have capital of a certain amount. Once you have those requirements, you then come to and speak to us and say, I want to franchise a Clover brand. It is maybe 10 million rands, but they expect me to have a deposit of 1.5 million. So, but I need you to assist me with 3 million. We're able to give you that. And we also have what we call purchase order funding or contract finance. This is when you receive a contract either from a government department or a private sector entity to provide, let's say, chairs for Tiger Brands, but you don't have the money to fulfill that contract that you are given. We're able to give you the money. Of course, it's even our fastest funding product, so the approvals are much quicker. And you are able to fulfill the obligation that you are mandated to. But more than that, we have what we call business development support. And we do offer business development support in the form of grants so that at least we are able to give your business a strong footing into the economy, and you are then able to then come back maybe a year later or 2 years later to say, I have grown from this level to another level, so I'm now ready to apply for the financial support that you offer. So we have various grants, including the Township Business Renewal. This is a grant up to the value of 50,000 rands. It is mostly used for equipment or for especially SMMEs in the manufacturing sector. There's one that applied for it. They manufacture toilet paper. So they gave us a quotation to say the machinery that I want is 49,000 rands, and we paid the service provider. Now they have the machinery and now they're scaling. We also have what we call the Cooperatives Assist Program. This is a grant to the value of 40,000 rands. We have the Community Fund. We also have a youth fund that is blended financing mechanism whereby 50% is a loan, 50% is a grant. And we do that because we want to encourage young people in particular, young women in particular, to participate in the economy. And the various other forms of grants that we offer, of course, include your financial management systems. Recently, we're assisting spaza shops with a point of sale system. So this is a system, a computer system that keeps you as a business owner accountable. It takes stock of how much you have in your shop, how much money you've used, how much money or how much stock has even went out. So it makes you accountable to yourself. I know if I ran a business, I would use money for stock to do my nails. Sorry, that's me. So we've put that mechanism in place to assist you as a business to be more effective. But more than that, we also have your marketing support, because it is no use that you run a business but people don't know about it. So we also offer that in the form of a grant. We also offer quality management systems training and certification. We understand that it's quite expensive, but the ISO certification that we provide is also benchmarked with global standards, because we want our entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, to participate in the economy at a global scale. Thank you.
Thank you. So, it makes me think back of when I first started my business in the year 2000. I was, 24, and I came into the animation industry, which was all white male back then. I was the only female who owned an animation studio. And as the MEC said, yes, we've got a seat at the table, but that table was definitely not built for me. And so I had to put in, being a pioneer in an industry is a very tough thing, because nobody was doing TV series and film at the time. Everybody was doing commercials. But getting onto that table, I had to help the men do a shift from a competitive mindset to a collaborative mindset. And that's something that comes with the feminine. We're a lot more collaborative, we're a lot more nurturing, we're a lot more, ensuring more benefit than just ourselves. And hence, when I, started my animation company, was to train the first black and females to enter our industry. So it then becomes, something that as women we do in ensuring that we help others as they come along. So I really want to honor South Africa for, creating that enabling environment where young women can, dream of being an animation producer, and it becomes a reality, because I know the rest of Africa, there's definitely not the opportunities that South Africa offers our industry. But I want to look back at the last decade. It has been a tough one for entrepreneurs especially. We're talking global economic crisis. We're talking that housing crisis. Who would have thought a housing crisis from America could affect us? And yet it did. We're talking the war that's affecting the fuel prices, COVID-19. And I remember Gauteng Economic Propeller was really brilliant at that time during COVID, where they put programs in place supporting incubators, internships, and it was such a critical springboard to help those entrepreneurs during those difficult times. So I'm curious to know what your organizations have done in the last decade to support women's businesses through these tough times.
Okay, right now ABSA has partnered with African Development Program. This program will help all women to actually come through and ask for funding. And through this funding, you don't have to have collateral. It will come and actually, we will support you with that grant, and then you can get funding through that. And yes, businesses have taken a true downside. We've seen that through our approval rate. But we are there to support you as bankers. We have a tailored solution offering there to try and assist you in getting the funding that you might require, so that your business scales up instead of you reaching a downside of not being fully assisted.
So, as you've mentioned, we did quite a lot of work post-COVID and of course during COVID. And one of the biggest funds that we ran at the time was the Rebuilding Fund. and it was not structured as a full loan facility because we understood that we have a responsibility of rebuilding. But more than that, because we are a development finance institution of government, our loans are at prime. We don't want you to stress about repayments that would be detrimental to your business. So I think this is one of the ways in which we try to give back and, of course, to encourage economic activity among businesses that are particularly owned by women.
Great, thank you. I want to touch a little bit on monitoring, evaluation, and especially learning, because, you know, a lot of research is done, and I'm sure you guys do research and you have statistics over what has happened over the past few years. So I'm keen to know about what have been the successes that you can report around women's businesses that you've achieved in the last decade, but also what have been the challenges and failures and what you've learned from that and hence modified to address that.
So we've been busy now with the annual report process, and out of the 8 businesses that we are profiling, 6 are owned by women. One is in, of course, the tissue manufacturing. Of course, I have a bias towards women. I apologize. One is towards, one manufactures plastics, right? And I think that is quite a niche area, especially for Black women to operate in. So even though we've not been able to make a great dent in the economy as much as we would want to, I think we have supported, especially informal traders, to be formalized. There's a program that the Department of Economic Development runs called Qondisa Ishishini Lakho. So what this program does, number one, it assists in formalizing businesses in the townships. And a majority of the businesses that would be assisted would be women-owned businesses. And that not only gives them the confidence of them being compliant, but now they're able to access the various financial support that government offers, even the grants. So I think that is the one thing that the Department of Economic Development in the province has tried to be steadfast on. But more than that, even with the targets that the Office of the Premier would set for the women-owned businesses, it is very, in fact, every department in Gauteng knows that procurement needs to favor women-owned businesses. Of course, persons living with disabilities and young people. So as it relates to the empowerment that we have regarding women, I think the provincial government has been very clear, even so much that they made it a policy that procurement must have targets. Targets must be women-owned business priority, persons living with disabilities, and of course, the youth.
Okay. At ABSA, we have your Women in Small and Medium Enterprise Capacity Development Program. Through this program, we work directly with women entrepreneurships, and we also strengthen businesses through readiness programs and where we improve their financial capacity. And this is where we connect them with bankers through tailored and guided support. Our programs not only just focus on offering guided support, but we also do offer financial and non-financial interventions. These interventions will include mentorship, networking opportunities, financial literacy, business management support, as well as funding readiness assessments, which will help access our women to expect specialist banking expertise, right? And the objective with that, it's not that we're just trying to get women to come apply just for funding, but we actually see that we want to see your businesses become sustainable, scalable, as well as investment ready. And how I've seen in how these partnerships with the ecosystem partners, how it has helped, we've seen that in the industries, it embodies the whole the entrepreneurs. It helps the women to wider accessibility to the markets and training business opportunities through these partnerships. That's what I've seen.
I know, I just want to share a program that my industry body, Animation South Africa, runs, and I was a volunteer board member for about 8 years. And we started a program in Kliptown, training children in animation, and now having extended that to gaming. And we were so impressed by what 9-year-olds were capable of taking in and learning. And remember, Kliptown is one of the most abject poverty areas. And these kids would come to these classes hungry. We had to ensure their sandwiches and juice. And they absolutely blew our minds, to the point where we introduced teenagers, and we used the 9-year-olds to teach the teenagers. And that showed us exactly how much they had grasped from this learning. And I think we take for granted like what children are capable of. And so when I think about that in the sense of entrepreneurship, that foundation should be started early. We should be introducing our children to the principles of entrepreneurship. I know I do it for my daughter. And I think what comes in as critical in these spaces is corporate social investment, enterprise development. What do your organizations spend in terms of making a difference in community, from early childhood development to schooling to post-schooling? So maybe you can speak a bit about your social corporate investment and enterprise development, because the entrepreneurs would be keen to know.
So our enterprise development program, it actually helps our women businesses when they want to focus more on understanding how to prepare their business plan, how to access markets and access network foundations. So you just need to register. I apologize. Can you speak?
Okay. So as part of our ESD, which we also give in the form of a grant, we have ESD support, and this is a grant up to the value of 100,000 rands. And at least with this grant, you are able to tap from multiple service offerings. So you could say you need financial assistance or financial systems that would be 30,000 rands, and then on category 2 you say you need marketing support or marketing collateral, that is another category of 30,000 rands, and maybe the last one would be a business management training or some type of training that you are able to get from our value chain. And so that then is the 100,000 ESD support that we give. But more than that, we support informal traders. I know that an issue of contention has always been the fact that we are not able to measure or gauge the impact our support has in the economy. But the argument that we always come up with is the fact that we are a developmental institution, and if their standard of living improves, then we've made a contribution to their livelihoods, and we can even gauge that as part of our corporate social responsibility.
Great, thank you. So I think we're coming to an end. We're going to wrap this call up, and I want to ask you a question. Do you know that we're all in the same business? Who can guess what business we're all actually in? We're all in the business of marketing. Every single one of us, first and foremost, before whatever industry you're in, before whatever specific product or service you're offering, you're in the business of marketing. And the first thing that you're marketing, and most important thing that you're marketing, is yourself. Because people buy into people, not just products and services. It's about who is behind that. So always keep that in mind in terms of what is my personal brand? How am I perceived out there on the various social media platforms? Because when people further investigate in you, they start to dig into your social medias. So ensure that you manage that process very carefully. And then, of course, taking advantage of these opportunities. like this networking opportunity. I have 1 minute. So I want to take this opportunity. I sat with a lady outside, which I call my random stranger for the day moment. And her name is Tuso. Is she in the room? I would love to give her a plug. Tuso, are you here? Oh, what a pity. It looks like she did not stay. I was going to plug her business. Anyway, thank you so much, ladies. This was very enlightening. I think you did an excellent job. And I'd like to give the ladies a hand of applause for their lovely job. That's yours.
We are at the end of our program. We just have two more speakers. I would encourage you to stay. There is something happening at the end of the program. If you leave, ne? Hey, uzawuthini? Uzozwa, utlo utlwa bari. You'll miss an opportunity. So to the stage right now, I think we're getting into more or less the last 45 minutes of the program, and just under the theme, supporting women entrepreneurs to promote their competitiveness and sustainability within the theme, driving change. Ladies, can we reel it in just a little bit? My lovely ladies, we are almost done. I understand you, we are almost done. So I'm going to just ask our next two speakers to follow each other, given that they are motivational talks. Abuti Khomolemo Lebona from Jiga, and Sisolilo Kumalo from Global Sync. So I'm just going to ask the two of you to just come and just give us your addresses for the day, and then please follow one another in that regard. You have 10 to 15 minutes each. Thank you so much.
The last one, no?
Thank you very much. Dumelang. Legai. Somebody asked me today, what am I doing at a women's conference? For a moment I froze, didn't know how to answer that question, but I can say I'm glad that I'm here. You women look beautiful today. So it is mentioned that I'm going to give a motivational talk. I don't know, I did not prepare a motivational talk, but I'm going to talk. Yeah, so I'm from Jiga Communications and Training, and to answer also the fact that what am I doing at the Women's Conference, Jiga Communication, it stems from pillars and foundation of very strong women. So basically when I'm here today, like I was sent to go represent the company as a young gentleman. I did, however, prepare a slide. I think that will show the slides pretty soon. But before getting to the slides, I'm from a program called the Green Seeds. And I'm proud to see today a couple of the former and current Green Seeds members that are within the audience. So to the fellow Green Seeds. So I'd like to start by saying that to all the women that are in business and everyone in attendance today that are into entrepreneurship, the answers are here. What do I mean by that is that answers are in rooms like today. We go around seeking funding, seeking guidances, but what I can say to you is that organizations like this, gatherings like this is where we find all our answers. It comes with a bit of pressure though, coming to speak about a program that offers training and mentorship right after the MEC said the women have received enough training and mentorship. So, so apologies for that, but training and mentorship is our core business as the Green Seeds. So I'm just gonna run quickly to what we do as as the green seeds. So I think we can just, Molaro, if you can just go to our next slide there. So basically, we're running a 2-year program where we guide and mentor your business. Guidance being the key word. We don't just mentor your business, but we show guidance, we nurture you, and we build one big happy family. How this program runs is that we start through marketing, then the recruitment phase of it. Once we're done recruiting, we go through training, mentorship, and master classes. I will run through all those phases later on in this presentation. So the benefits of being part of a program like this is that it helps you create opportunities for your own business, but also for those who are within your business. So the focus is to make sure that your business develops, make sure that you increase your clientele, but also make sure that you create jobs for those within your business. If you can just jump to our next slide there. Okay, the main exit outcomes is as follows. The full compliance, access to market, economic growth, and empowering the community. By full compliance, we mean firstly, the general compliance of your business, CSD, SARS, and all those things. But then the challenging part is the industry compliance. Most of us here today, we are in industries whereby compliance becomes an issue. There are people who spoke here today that having an end in mind when you run your business. So I'm seeing many opportunities here for collaboration. That if we start with an end in mind and offer the guidance of the green seeds, make sure that we are fully compliant, make sure that our businesses grow economically, so that when the fundings come or when we are market ready, we can access all the opportunities that the market has to offer for us. Can we just move to the next slide there? So these are the pillars of our program: accountability, transparency, intimacy, and communication. Intimacy being a very big part of it. We were blessed by very nice words today by Dr. Tsepo. Dr. Tsepo said she offered words of encouragement, and her words were, hold on to hope. So why those specific words whereby we are here seeking funding, seeking advice, and seeking mentorship in business? Because business is a very lonely journey, ladies and gentlemen. Business is very lonely. It's hard, it's lonely right there. So the reason why we add intimacy to a pillar, as one of our pillars as the green seeds, is that we understand the connection between a mentor and a mentee. We don't just mentor your business, we mentor the person. We don't just connect with you on a business level. We believe in connecting on a human level first, because we understand there are certain challenges that are beyond just figures on your journal. There are certain situations whereby you need to connect to a human being. So as the green seeds, the reason why we added intimacy as part of one of our pillars is that we understand the entrepreneurial journey can be challenging to a human being's psyche as well. Can we just move to the next slide there? So we have a more blended approach in terms of our marketing. We market through radio, social media, and just engaging with entrepreneurs through platforms like these ones. Can we jump to? And then the phase 2 is the recruitment part of it. I think we can jump that because of time, Mulal. This is the big one, the training of the green seeds. We have a program called Startup and Go. This is the bread and butter of green seeds and any other training program that Giga Communication goes through. So Startup and Go is an internationally endorsed entrepreneurship course. This is now, we play business simulation games. I always say to people that whenever you attend Startup and Go, I say this about the program because it's our program. But usually what I say is that until you attended one of these trainings, you won't understand. It's a very hands-on activity. We have lots of fun. We play business simulation games. So the reason for that is that we believe that in a situation where we're engaging with one another, playing and always being active, teaching and learning becomes a much more smoother process. However, this is an internationally endorsed course. It's written by the International Labour Organization, the ILO, Giga Communication, and University in California. We've rolled out this course throughout different places in South Africa and the country, and the world, I mean. Can we go to the next slide? As you can see there, we've rolled out the Startup and Grow program in South Africa, in Gauteng, Free State, the Northern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape. And we've also been asked by Curo National to roll out this powerful entrepreneurship program. We have also rolled out the program in Tanzania and Indonesia. So there is a high demand of the Startup and Grow program, which we believe it lays the foundation of entrepreneurship. Can we just jump to the next one there? And then we jump to the mentorship sessions, which I believe is the core of this program. So with the Green Seeds, we believe mentorship is the one that really shapes up the entrepreneur. It really helps you to grow your business in terms of compliance, access to market, and financial growth. Yes, as a non-financial program, we do care about the growth of your business financially. We did build relationships with those who are in spaces whereby they can offer funding. Remember, I said earlier on, is that the answers are here. In as much as us as a program, we do not offer any funding, but we are, through the power of associations like ABSA, like the GEP, we all working together to make sure that you do gain access to the funds. But it's not just about the funds, ladies and gentlemen. Your business needs to be ready for funding as well. Can we just go to the next one? So these are the structures of our program. One being compliance, we touched on. Two being marketing. So in terms of marketing, we're speaking of marketing of your own business. It was just said to us now that we are all here in one business, and that's the business of marketing. We market ourselves everywhere we go. We are brands as ourselves, and we do market our businesses as brand. As I'm actually speaking to you right now, as the Green Seeds, we are having a masterclass, a marketing masterclass running right now in Kempton Park, where we've invited industry giants in the marketing industry, the former marketing heads of KFC and other big brands. So some of the Green Seeds, I can see you guys are here and you're not attending the masterclass. Okay, then we can jump to the next one. And then these are our masterclass sessions that I just spoke about. So every month we host a masterclass session, attending a different topic where we invite industry experts to come through our masterclass. We've had the honor of having Sitfa and Aluanu from GEP to be part of one of our compliance masterclass just about a month ago. Thank you, Alu. Okay, and then these are the impact analysis. So what we do, we document the journey. The entrepreneurship journey, we try by all means to document our journey. We have a coffee table magazine. So whenever you walk into any of the organizations that we work with, Heineken Beverages, Gauteng Department of Economic Development, they have a coffee table magazine. So whenever you are there paying a visit, just have a look at the table. You see we have a magazine where we document the journeys of all our entrepreneurs. Can we just jump to the next one there? And then with every program, we need to have success or proven success. Just the next one. Okay. So with every program, we need to have proven success. So I've collected a little bit of stats here to share with you today. So we have about 196 businesses who have gone through the Green Seeds program. About 91.9% of them have increased in their compliance, and then 90.3% of them have increased in terms of their customer base. 83.5% of the small businesses grew financially, and the business has increased their overall revenue with over 68 million. So there's many ways to view success, stats being one of them. So the stats being one of the ways that we view success. But we are at a women's conference. We're going to speak about women's business. I'm not going to speak about the overall success, but I want to touch specifically on the success of the women that are in our program. So of the 70 businesses that we have in the Green Seeds program, 73% of those businesses are women. Not so long ago, there were Bambalela Awards taking place, and I'm proud to say here today that a few of our Green Seeds mentees got a podium finish. Just an honorable mention to Kefente, Maimu, and Sebongile. Those three were part of the Bambalela Awards, and they really got a podium finish. That's just one way of viewing success of getting podium finishes. But what's important to us is the access to market. I'm proud to say that sitting here today, as I walked in, there's a specific lady who is part of the Green Seas program who has gotten an off-cut agreement with one of the big restaurant retailers. So she produces honey. So whenever you are at restaurants, ladies and gentlemen, and you're ordering honey, if you see a honey by the name of Mamepeng, just know it is a proud product of the Green Seas program. So my heart got broken. Okay, in closing, I just want to mention one more thing here. My heart got broken today when the MEC mentioned that there are funds available. But out of those funds that are available, it's very difficult to get entrepreneurs that meet certain requirements of those funds. As someone who's in the enterprise development phase, as someone who mentors and helps businesses grow, it breaks my heart, it shatters me, because it is our duty to make sure that entrepreneurs are funding ready. We complain as a country that there are no funds. We complain as a country that there is no access to market. But again, the answers are here. Ntate Manda from Tiger Brand mentioned that one of the things that they look for is when they work with tomato farmers, is that some of these farmers, they need to be in an irrigated area. They need to have irrigation. And the MEC mentioned that there are funds for such things. So that means there is a gap somewhere in between, whereby Tiger Brand is looking for a farmer with irrigation. The government says we have funds for irrigation. Where are these two meeting, and where are these two missing each other? So I'm saying, as the Green Seeds and Jiga Communication, in partnership with Gauteng Department of Economic Development, we will make it our duty to close that gap between those two parties. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you.
Sis Olile, I hear you are being. I believe there's a video that is preceding. You can. Oh, guys, you don't want to sing. We are waiting for a video. Are we ready?
just manufacturing baby cosmetic products. We have a range of product lines. We've got baby cosmetics, we've got household cleaning detergents. We've recently launched, or rather introduced, new lines that will be launched sometime early next year, which is baby purees and adult purees. I know a lot of people are not familiar with adult purees. We also saw a gap again in the market. The elderly people are not catered for. They are not being accommodated. There are also people suffering from dysphagia, which is like the people recovering, stroke survivors, cancer patients, and the elderly. So those are the people that we are catering for next. We're currently busy with our finalization on those products. We've submitted some of the samples for testing. Hopefully they'll be ready by next year. With our purees, we already have a market. Pick and Pay is waiting for us. So for me, entrepreneurship, I just wrote a few things down. Entrepreneurship is not just about building a business. It is about building yourself. My journey has taught me that resilience is the heartbeat of success. Every challenge, every setback, every sleepless night has been a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. I know with you guys right now, they're struggling to get access to market. You meet buyers on a daily basis, but when you send them emails, they never respond. When you phone them, they never pick up their calls. It's always the case. I've been there. It's very frustrating. So I decided to have a different approach. Every time they normally do those market days on your month end, you'll find that Checkers is doing a market day, Pick and Pay is doing a market day. So I will normally follow them on their social media pages just to find out what's happening, where are they, what's happening, what is it that they're activating. I remember this was 2 years back. I found out that Pick and Pay was doing their Pick and Pay in the West End. So I decided, okay, fine, I've been sending them emails, they were not responding, I'm phoning, they're not picking up my calls. I'm going to attend this market day because chances are I will meet with all the buyers there. And I was right. I met some of the buyers and I introduced myself. I was like, I'm Kolile Khumalo. They're like, Global in Sync. I'm like, no, we're tired of your emails. You're sending 100 emails every day. And I told them, but you're not responding. What must I do? So the lady says to me, you know what, let's make an appointment. Come to our head office, bring your product and see what we can do. And I said to her, if you need to see my product, I already have samples in the car, I can bring them now. Then I can come to head office and see what we can do going forward. So I brought in the product, I gave them the product. 2 days later, I gave a call, they gave me a call that I must come to Pick and Pay head office. The rest was history. So, yeah, I think in life you just have to operate differently because everyone is phoning buyers and you can see how many we are right now in the room. Imagine one category buyer dealing with everyone that's in the room. They'll end up ignoring those calls, they'll end up ignoring those emails because it's time consuming for them. Find a different approach and see how best you can get those listings with retail. And resilience does pay, consistency. Just because they did not pick up or you didn't manage to get any buyer to talk to today, it doesn't mean that you must give up and lose hope. Be persistent, send those emails. Even if you send them 50 emails a day, they will eventually be curious who this person is. Doesn't she get tired of sending us emails? So yeah, we need to have a different approach. So resilience for me means standing tall when the winds of change blow. It means refusing to quit when the numbers don't add up and believing in your vision even when others doubt it. But resilience is not just about surviving, it's about evolving. To thrive, we must invest in ourselves, keep learning and stay ahead of trends. The world is changing fast and so must we. That's the reason why we're introducing new lines. A lot of people right now, they are starting to go into the starting to manufacture baby products. We need to keep up with the trends. Hence, we're introducing new lines that have not been tapped into. Like, for instance, the adult purees. Most people are familiar with baby purees. And there's a reason why we're tapping into that market, because there is a gap. And because of the other retail stores that we haven't been listed in, that will give us the opportunity, because they want something unique. You don't have to be just a Me Too business, because those days you see somebody manufacturing detergents, then everyone else wants to start manufacturing detergents. We have to be different, we have to be unique, and keep up with the market. Please also remember that we're also competing against multinational companies with enormous advertising budgets. So we have to make sure that we look up to them. I'm also looking up to Tiger Brands. They motivate me, so yeah, I'm learning a lot from them. And we are not only stopping there. The idea is for us to have more than 12 lines of products. We want to see the target for us right now is for us to start exporting to other African countries next year. It is possible. We already have contracts in Swaziland. We already have contracts in Swaziland through all the other thing that you need to be aware of. Once you get listings with your retail stores, make sure that you expand via them. You know that you get a listing with Checkers. Checkers is available in other African countries. Speak to your buyers. Can we export to Botswana? Can we start exporting to Lesotho? That's when you start getting your footprints around Africa. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go outside the country and start marketing. If you're listed with any retail store, make use of that opportunity and start listing with their stores outside their country. In closing, I'd like to encourage you, be resilient, be teachable, be prayerful, and be innovative. Invest in yourself, evolve with the times, and never neglect your well-being. Remember, success is not just about business. It's not about business you build. It's about the woman you become in the process. And please make use of those interns that are offered by the year's programs. Please, please. I know some of you guys, they will normally tell those students that they've got nothing to offer. There is. You can put them under sales and marketing and make sure that you're pushing your product. Thank you.
Ladies, it's time for that thing that I promised you, ne? The surprise, ne? I am going to, I think we are done in terms of the program for the day. Thank you so much for just hanging out with us, you know? Today was about you, and we enjoyed being with you. We enjoyed spending this time with you. It was such an honor to serve you today. So I'm going to call up Mr. Bongani Nkosi to come on stage, and I think he's bringing some colleagues with him so that they can then wrap up the program, and I believe the announcements for lunch will also be done by him. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute honor to serve you this morning. Thank you so much.
Sanbonan, Ninjan, I hope we met your expectations today. Yeah. So you know what happened last year, né? For those of you who attended, we are repeating the same strategy. So we have prizes for some of the SMMEs, you know, but this time we are not the ones that are going to be choosing who will get the prize, because I think you are all deserving, right? So we sat with the team, we negotiated, and it came to a point where we said, okay, rather let's do a raffle. So you've got the tags, Angit? All of you have got the tags. Your tags have got numbers, right? So I will call Rai, who will explain the process. Can we settle down? No, so maybe just to, the tags, the tags with the numbers is only for the women-owned businesses. I can remember we came to your businesses, we were vetting you guys. Some of you guys didn't want to open your doors to us, or complaining. But I'm like, how are you a business if we come and verify to see exactly, if you say you are manufacturing, we want to come and see. But some of you didn't want to let us in. You know, some of you were like, no, don't come. I won't even come to the event. But they had already RSVP'd. Because we wanted to verify, you know. Yeah, so Rai will explain the process, and then we'll start with the raffle.
Thank you, Bongani. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to thank everyone that is here, especially from the women in business. I believe if it wasn't by you, we won't have this kind of an event, and we won't have this kind of corporates that are willing to support your businesses. I'm going to just give an overview of how we are going to work with the next item. We have colleagues that were on the panels. They are from the private sectors. None of them is from the government. Last year we opened for a competition. People responded. People won laptops, printers, and those gifts. Some of them are giving us feedback to say their businesses are growing since they had equipment. So we still have more equipment that we got supported by one of the stakeholders. It's in terms of the laptops, the printers, and we also have a gazebo. I don't know who is getting a gazebo. I don't know who is getting a printer. I don't know who is getting a laptop. So the process that we're going to use, we are going to call those panel members one by one on their corporates. We have a bowl here. Bongani has already spoke about the numbers. The reason we numbered your wristband, we also have a duplication of the number in here. So I want it to be transparent. Here are the numbers. I have no relation to this number. I have no relation to whoever that is going to win. As well as my colleagues in the department. I know most of you have a relationship with us. We have been working with us for many years. Please don't be angry to me if you didn't win. It wasn't just your day will come. The lady that was here motivated you guys to say you need to be resistant. I think she left the point where she was supposed to explain about her winnings at the Hollywood Foundation, which is the pitching. Maybe most of you guys goes and pitch and you don't win. Next year, enter again. Go and pitch. If you don't win, enter again. This morning we just received the news. There's one of SMME also that he has been with us for the longest time. We had competitions earlier with Standard Bank. He won the Provincial Standard Bank Award. He won money. He went to Sasol. There was another competition at Sasol. He won again, number one. He went to National Standard Bank. He won the third time in 2 months. So it means it's possible. So if you are not called on your number here, please don't say, hey, I'm no longer going to their event. I know last year it was like that. No, how did those ones get them? So guys, I wanted to give the entire room gifts. Unfortunately, I don't have any pairs to give gifts. I get donations from the corporates, which means I'm putting the corporates under the ladder. Next year, guys, donate for us to give more. Please. We are begging on their behalf. So I'm going to call the panelists one by one from the program. Where's the program? We can start with Clover. While Paul is here, there's a QR code there. There was a speaker from NBI They spoke about opportunities that they have. They spoke about the support that they give in terms of the skills gaps that you have in your business. Maybe Ushotaka, a young person who is in IT, who should help you to have a software that runs your business. NBI, after their research, there will be a survey that they will run out of that. After that, they can get funds from other funders to put young people in your business and support you on those skills gap. So when you get a survey coming from NBI, please respond with your business needs. Then in terms of skills, not in terms of equipment. They give you a human being to support you on the skills that you don't have in your business. So you'll get those surveys. Now there's documents in that QR code, scan it, take to yourself through those documents and align yourself on the gaps that you do have in your business. Then you will get support later. We will send different communication as well as what Catherine has spoke about earlier. We are going to send an invitation from Molalo for the workshop of Money Savvy. You'll still get an invitation from Molalo for you to attend the September workshop. So we are starting with Globa. Paul? Don't look there, just shake, 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 and take out. Number. Which number is that?
Number 141.
And Paul will award her with the gifts. Says, you can have a picture. Okay, she's having a laptop and the laptop bag. This is the gift that she's getting. Secondly, can we have a representative from Tiger Brands? They can take. On this side. No, you can come on the stage, Crystal. And then now you look somewhere and put your hands. It must be the hand that sees. The face must not see. Look somewhere and use your hand. Okay, you announce it. You announce your number.
Heaven, is this upside down? It is number 92.
That was on the panel. Doctor, please join us. And then, you know the rules, doctor. You don't look, you use your hand to look. Yes. Yeah, you're doing it well, doctor.
So we have 131.
Lucky one. This number that is going to be called next is the lucky one. You are being called by the money, which is ABSA. Let's invite a colleague from ABSA. And whoever that is getting this one, you must know that money is following. ABSA. A representative from ABSA, please join us.
Number 51.
On the other side. We are still happy, ne? Yes. Thank you so much. Now we are asking for the NBI. NBI to join us.
Worshippers and prayers, you must pray. Ne? I'm a laptop live 4. There's only 4 laptops left.
NBI, please find your number.
Number 79.
I think we are still lucky, ne? It's one per table who is winning. We haven't doubled tables, so I'm also praying that we don't double. We go one table at a time. I'm gonna ask one of the stakeholders also, which is called BOLD, a representative from BOLD. Please join us. Barukudua, kokoze. Shake, shake, shake. Yebo.
Number 18. 1
8, number 1 8. The moderators. Okay, before I go to Khosi, I'll ask one of the moderators to join us also to come and grace people with a gift. I don't want anything that will have to do with any government officials on this thing. I don't want stories. Please put your hand, ma'am.
110. 110.
Woo! Hey! uNkulunkulu usamamela imthandazo yami angakadabula ukutafula. We are still going 1-1. Is it doubles? No, you guys are lucky. For sure the third one is coming. And the next moderator, please join us. She's here. She says she wants the vibe.
Lucky number 53.
I'm gonna call Josi from Tiger Brands to join us. See, you are trying, but somebody will come from that table next to you.
125.
Is getting a printer. Bengsekwaridzi ngithi nizocomplain abogogo nithi ngibheka abasha. So asengicovered. Aluwani to come and join us and grace the next person who is going to win.
From government.
Lucky number 72.
One of our partners, Homoli Mo from Jiga. Barfudua. They mustn't be angry with you after they didn't get the number. The way they are calling you.
Lucky number 65.
All right, the number comes to us, it's fine. I'm going to call again a colleague from ABSA. There's somebody who spoke here from the ABSA. Where is she? Okay, she's a little bit far. Let me call another colleague from Bolt. Ramona, please come and do your thing.
Lucky number 95.
Hey, number 100.
Number 83.
This moment, I don't want you guys to only blame the panels or the corporates and say they did not choose us. I want Mama Owinileng, maybe the Omongwe Mama Owinileng, to come here and take the lucky number. So they are also involved. We must blame all of them also. Peer-to-peer influence or luck, ne? Peer-to-peer. You are on the same level here. They are blessing you. They are getting blessed as of today.
31.
Number 31. Number 31. asazi sizokwazi ukuyithola siyibekele phambili kodwa sizozama.
Number 2. Gazebos. So these 3 gifts that are left, it was gazebos. She's the first winner of the gazebo. We are left with 2. Hey, number 27. Siyabonga. We are going for the last one. This is the last lucky person of the day. Usisi will do the deeds. You look somewhere and your hands must find.
Ba re moja morao ke kgoši. Number 47.
Like that, we are done. My job is easy. It's really just to thank all the sponsors. Tsoko-san, thank you so much for allowing us to use your venue. EPSA, thank you for pulling through. If it was not for you, this would have never happened. To other sponsors, Tiger Brands, NBI, Bolt, Premier Foods. That's about it, ne? Okay, sure. And Clover. So, guys, business owners, they said the QR code is for all your pictures, ne? Just scan it and then you will get all your pictures. Yeah? Auko. Okay, I will personally ask our photographer to come take pictures of you. To the MC, thank you so much, Aus Francina, for pulling through for us. It was really wonderful. You kept the crowd alive. We really appreciate you. To the moderators, we really appreciate you coming on board. I know it was last minute, but we hope to do it again with you next year. And I think that's everybody. Thank you so much. So, yeah, before we exit, ne? So this is how we're gonna do this, ne? So lunch is served, but we are going to start with the front tables in terms of all the dignitaries first, right? So our strategic partners, angithi sifuna ukuthi babuye na next year. Hasibafohla laphaya nabazosho ukuthi hayi la kuna order. They're not gonna come back. So let's just please, there will be somebody who will be calling out the tables, but I think for now we are going to start with our dignitaries, the moderators, the sponsors, the speakers. Ne? So lunch is served on the right-hand side as you leave the door. There is a buffet type of setup. Then you come back and eat where you guys are sitting. So with that, we will start with the dignitaries. If the dignitaries can please stand up and head towards the venue. Tina, the rest of us, business owners, let's just be patient. We've got enough for everybody. But let's just make sure our dignitaries are sorted, then we will be fine.